Hey guys, I am live today. I am bringing on Jonathan. Everybody knows me as Cali Fae, the singer, songwriter, movie producer, executive, blah, 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 blah. Right, guys? Model, whatever. But I'm Tianna DeNA Jones. And hey, how you doing? So I'm live today to bring on a historian. We're talking about a few things. We just had our interview. Our interview will go up on YouTube. We had our Zoom. It was a great connection. It was a great time for us to really just talk about the unique energy and surviving and the ancestral awareness. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. We are going to go here on live and basically just go from there. Let me go ahead and invite him. Okay, so I just sent him an invite. I can't wait for him to get on. But in the meantime, I am so excited, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody early. Happy Hanukkah, of course, first and foremost. So I'm very excited. He just joined, Jonathan, and we met at the film event in Austin. So he and I just again did a exclusive. Now we're going to go ahead and have a discussion here. I sent him an invite. I just accepted it, guys. And go follow him too after this is done and we're done with the live. So we're going live with him now. It said he's unable to join, so let's see why. I just accepted it. Maybe it's his service. I don't know. Oh, there you are. Okay. So it,
Hi.
it worked, guys. Welcome, everybody, for obviously being on my live today. We have a podcast that we do, monthly. I have a podcast called Universal Revolutionary Healing. I bring on guests and people that have unique occupations and all occupations to describe what's going on with them, elevating them, helping them, utilizing my platforms. So Jonathan is a historian. Go ahead, Jonathan. Tell them who you are and what makes you creditable and why they should listen to your voice.
Yes, hi. So I'm a filmmaker and my brand is troll crushing, specifically Holocaust denying trolls. And I've written two feature film screenplays, both of which have won awards that tackle this very topic. One of them depicts how the German justice system.
Okay, something just happened and they cut him off. So this is what happens when you're real on these platforms. Luckily, we have the whole interview. We already had it and it's recorded. Let's hope that he can try to join again. I just sent him another invite.
Oh, it broke again.
It's okay. You're back. You're back. God is protecting
Yeah, I'm
us,
back.
right? Energy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a filmmaker. My brand is troll crushing, and recently I've been selected to give a lecture about this topic in Poland. I've studied the topic in depth. I've read multiple scholarly sources and official documents from the U.S. government and the UN detailing how the treaties were made with Germany and Japan and how they basically denied the victims justice. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I've read about how the London Debt Agreement excluded survivors from Eastern Europe from reparations and how the Treaty of San Francisco with Japan denied reparations to Chinese victims of Japan during World War II. I've studied all of this, and it's quite heavy, very heavy.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. And so I wanted this exclusive on Instagram to be broken through. So if you guys see this, make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you go and like it on YouTube as well. You guys can go to my YouTube channel at Cali Fae. We want people to understand what's going on in the world. There's people that are still suffering from this, ancestors, people that are being blocked. And he was mentioning in the interview information. Did you want to tell them what your basically an advocate for the Holocaust victims and survivors' families?
Yes, of course. People spread so many lies about the Jews, and these lies result in hate crimes, and it's sickening. So I want the truth to be out there so that the people know and have the necessary information to fight the lies. As for example, the claims that Jews allegedly got rich or benefited from reparations. No, no. In some cases, they only got like $400 for 1 year in a camp. It's sickening how this is misrepresented and how people lie about people who suffered so much. And I want the truth to be out there.
Thank you so much. And we're going over right now. So, this is my book, The Diary of Tianna DeNA Jones. It's part of the 21st century history. Now, background is basically me as a human being with human rights, as a survivor of family descent of 14 ethnicities. My great grandmother is so basically, my great grandparents were killed in the Holocaust because my grandmother was born in Israel and her parents were killed. She's a twin. She was shipped in 1944 to the United States. So, very much so, to understand what evil is and what energy is in history, is the fact that there are gifted people in the world. They're not just Jewish, they're actually all culture and all ethnicity have gifts and abilities. I want people to know that this evil has been spread all over the world for spiritual war for a long time. From what you've read, from the documents, and from the things that you've tapped into, what can you say has been the most historic coincidence, or maybe just history repeating itself in evil that you see?
Well, in my specific study that I'm going to present in Poland, I mean, regarding the policies with Germany and Japan, I was amazed by how almost identical they are. So these are two different countries separated by vast oceans and continents, but their response to the problem of reparations is almost identical. They cheated the victims, they gave them ridiculously small amounts to shut them up, and Japan especially uses them as like hush money so that their victims stop complaining, which is something that the Germans also did when they gave Greece in 1957 $250 million in reparations, but in exchange, Greece has to stop prosecuting a Nazi who deported all of the Jews in Thessaloniki to Auschwitz. So, yeah, basically that.
Okay, so for people that are, thank you for tuning in, people that are coming in, where do you think that we can go as a society, as a unified amount of gifted people in the world? Because obviously, there's history based off of, like you said earlier in our interview, your family, they were just wrapped up in it as well. How can you describe your ancestry and how this touches base and touches home for you?
Well, I'm Filipino American. My grandparents hid from the Japanese in the Philippines in World War II, and it's heavy. They grew up with after the war. They grew up with the survivors, and they did not get the same amount of help that Japan did. Japan is the richest country in Asia because the world was kind to them after World War II. And of course, specifically with the plight of the comfort women, there are still women suffering today: sex trafficking, sexual assault, incel culture, and a lot of it has to do with all of these rape culture ideas that were already present in the past. So it's overwhelming, to say the least. And also seeing anti-Semitism unfold now in the present really hits home, especially when you study the injustices done to the Jews after World War II. It's sobering to notice how little things have changed.
Now, in the documents that you mentioned, what documents are you able to view that give you the right to justify this information?
Well, there's the London Agreement on on German external debts, uploaded to the British government's publicly available servers, that explicitly says that claims by nations who Germany were at war with, or claims arising from actions done by the Reich or agencies of the Reich, are deferred until the final settlement on the problem of reparation. This was signed in 1952 by the agencies of the United Kingdom and the Federal Republic of Germany, previously known as West Germany. And of course, there's also the 2015 Japan and Korea Reconciliation Protocol, where Japan gave South Korea 1 billion yen to distribute to former comfort women survivors. And it's only South Korea, no North Korea, no China, no other country. So it's very exclusive. It's not sincere and it's not complete.
What will hold them accountable at this moment for the documents for someone like me who is 14 ethnicities, a Holocaust descent of survivors? What can you give me an advice as being also German as well, kind of caught in the crossroads?
I'm going to be honest, it's hard to see how they're going to be held accountable, because the final lesson here is Jews don't control everything, and it's the anti-Semites that do, and they have gamed and dominated the systems to work in their favor. So all we can do is, it's not it's up to the big people, the governments, the NGOs, but even as individuals, we can at least preserve this story for future generations so they know the truth. And when someone walks up to them and says that the Jews are rich, have it powerful, have it good, they can say, no, that's not true, you're lying. And then that's where it begins, and where it'll build up a cascading effect like an avalanche.
Thank you. Thank you for telling the truth. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that, my story gets out there as well. Somebody that is in the 21st century that's going through these changes as a Jesus and Abraham descent through genealogy and genetics, being, more than one avenue to a lineage and multiple lineages of showing the truth. So I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you coming on and actually giving more facts and analysis and data, and basically showing people that there is a way to have a paper trail to find out the truth as well.
Thank you as well for for giving me this platform. It's an honor to talk to you, and a privilege.
Thank you. Thank you. You really touched heart today when we were in our interview. I almost started crying because you were saying that, I wasn't alone in this journey. And I really, really appreciate that because, when somebody is determined in a calling to fight for the right of others, whether it's human rights, civil rights, whether it's being a humanitarian, all these things are important. But to know that there are good people out there and I'm not alone does make me feel hope as well, that there is, more things to happen rather than history and abrupt of lies and corruption.
Yes, it's always important to remember that even with all of the problems and injustice in the world, there are good people who are willing to listen.
Thank you. Thank you. And for people that are at home, tell them what kind of films you had. I know it glitched out when you were talking about the two different films that you screen wrote. I'm very intrigued with that as well. Go ahead and let us know.
Of course. One of them is called 211's by 100 Elf, which is about a lesbian couple in 1970s West Germany who were on the run from Nazis because Nazis still controlled the West German government, even if they weren't publicly called that. It's a story about how love endures even in the face of overwhelming hate and injustice. And the other one is called The Comforters, which is about three Asian women who, despite their mistrust and cultural differences, eventually come together to get justice for the comfort women survivors who were denied justice by Japan. They reclaim their femininity by using their skills to rob Japanese denialists of their in order to compensate the surviving comfort women. It's a heist thriller, and
Beautiful.
I use genre to help audiences digest these heavy and complicated subjects.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Women's lives do exist and all lives do exist, guys. Just knowing this pumps me up. It gives me more hope. It lets me know that there are good people. And thank you so much for being here. And, if people don't know, you guys can get a copy of my book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's called Diary of Tianna DeNA Jones, basically the 21st century history of what I am. A woman with the proof of being a part of God's prophecy comes out to reveal her experience during her awakening. Tiana meaning follower of Christ, Danae meaning judged by God, judged by others, and judged with God, and Jehovah, which means God. That's my last name, which is from Jones. Story from part two of Originated, an autobiography called Cali Girl, How Did You Make It in the Treacherous Streets of Detroit, which is this other book that I have here. It's remarkable what a person can do with their mind, guys. And being my own publisher, I do help people that do have great articles, great stories, unique analysis and data, whether it's technologies and media, they can put it in books, whether it's cooking, they can make that into a book, whether it's children's books, we help do that with Cali Girl Books LLC. So this is why I feel like God had me originate from knowing who I truly was, being a unique soul, being somebody that can gravitate to care, to love others, to light up a dark world, a dark space. And I felt comfortable with Jonathan. I knew that he had something in him that was beautiful. And when God tells me to talk to people, I just do it. When he tells me that, there's something that needs to be said, I need to speak with somebody and let them know something, I don't even question it anymore. I just do it. I know we met at, at an event, we connected, but then God told me, just call him up, just tell him, let's do an interview, let's do a podcast, let's connect. And knowing his history, I didn't know too much. I just knew that I was told to do this. And that is a gift. That's a gift, to be obedient, to listen. When you're called to help people, when you're called to listen to people and give them information, you need to do it. And you need to open up your platforms. People need to give opportunities to others. And that's what Universal Revolutionary Healing Podcast is about. That's what the radio station's about. That's what Cali Girl Books LLC is about. We are internationally opening up a platform and a network to touch base on content that nobody else is touching base on. Whether it seems like they are, they're really not. And the times we're in, it's a lot of courageous people and brave people that exist, but there's more corruption and money driven people that just forget that the spirit aligns with genetics and ancestry. So by telling my story, these people's stories in my books here, you guys can get those on Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. Pretty much you guys can get that. This is a Christmas time. It's a great gift. But this is why we're talking about this. The book is $9.99. It's affordable for anybody just to get the story out for history right now. As me being somebody in a storyline, being part as a woman's prophecy in history. Now, we have him here today, Jonathan, as a historian. We know he's creditable. He deals with documentations from the UN and other history based off looking for the information and pulling those certificates and pulling those documents from different sources, whether they're private or he has to pay for them, or whether he's tipped and given them through his connections, networking. Either way it goes, we are here today to unleash what is not to be told as, what can be controlled in a prophecy. We are here explaining this because people don't need to control this narrative. Being independent, someone being able to show that this is real, this does exist, as Tianna DeNA Jones is part of history. I brought him here today to not just back me, but to be a person and voice and legacy, to be a part of the history as the historian who founded Tianna DeNA Jones, Cali Fae, as part of the people that admitted to step up and say, hey, you are not alone. So thank you, Jonathan. Is there anything else you want to tell these famous people watching, these people that might not understand why we're doing this today, or if they think it's about power, what would you tell them? What happens in history to people who only care about power?
Well, my specialty is how the perpetrators of the Holocaust got off scot-free for despite their horrible crimes. I mean, the person who negotiated the London Debt Agreement that forgave 50% of German debt after the Second World War, he was also the man responsible for robbing the Jews during the Nazi era. So I can't say anything positive about people who only care about power getting their comeuppance in the end, because that's not what happened. But I will say that hate doesn't make anyone great. Hate is empty, hate is short term, and it only leaves you empty. Just don't hate, don't hate, and be open and be willing to trust and listen. That's all I'll have to say.
Thank you so much. And I want to go ahead and let everyone know, it's not that you're alone in this, because there are people that can listen and hear your story and feel your vibes. It's the fact that people are not willing sometimes to accept that this is in existence. And, Jonathan, how many times have you told me today the people are not understanding, or maybe the existence of the demeanor of the prophecy of what happened? What is, I mean, you're saying that the reason you do it is you want to tell these people's stories. Their stories got lost. Their stories have not been respected and gradually gained upon. So what could you tell them about that?
Could you repeat the question?
The question would be in the breath of history being deceased in fire. Basically, they're not able to grasp that they've been stolen. Everything's been scrambled up like a scrambled egg. How would you be able to give them hope in that part, to stay true, to try to care, to try to figure out who they are?
It all goes back to trust. trusting yourself, trusting your feelings, and trusting all of the people around you. Nobody, the stuff that I've just talked about, it's not very popular. People want a feel-good story. They want the new Nuremberg movie where the nations of the world got together to create a court and punish all of the Nazis, but that's only half truth. The one in the movie is only one trial. In the Nuremberg doctor's trial, half of the defendants were acquitted, and one half of those who were convicted had their sentences commuted. In the Einsatzgruppen trial, where there were initially 1,000 suspects, only 22 were tried. The rest escaped justice. So there's always going to be attempts to cover things up, but the truth is there. It always comes out. It wasn't, nobody drew attention to these histories, but I still found them. There are books about them, there are studies about them, and the Benjamin Ferenc, the prosecutor of the Nuremberg Einsatzgruppen trial, he preserved his story. He helped the Jewish people try to get some semblance of justice. So the truth always comes out. It always comes out no matter what anyone tries to do. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you. And do you believe that I should continue my truth? Do you believe I should continue to fight the good fight?
Of course, it's all we can do.
Thank you so much. And you continue to share your truth. You continue to back the people that are of light. And I will always be here as well. I am grateful for you. I trust you. And I'm very blessed to have you here today.
I am too.
Thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If anybody wants to go and follow him, where can they go and follow you?
You can follow me at jonathan.a.concepcion right here at Instagram.
Thank you. And if anyone has any questions, we can wait a couple seconds. If you want to put them in the comment box, he'll go ahead and answer them. But if not, just directly message him and he will be able to message you back. We appreciate your time. And is there anything else you would like to say, Jonathan?
You're not alone. Trust yourself and trust the people around you.
Thank you so much and God bless you and take care.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.